Hello, my name is Staff Sergeant Lima Youth. I'm going to give you a quick class on the Marine Corps' way on giving a formal or informal period of instruction. You probably already got this class. Maybe this is military-wide, but this is what the Marine Corps has taught me. My end statement is to teach my fellow students on how to give a Marine Corps period of instruction. Now that you know how to effectively speak in front of a large audience, now I'm going to teach you the way the military or the Marine Corps has taught me to give a formal or informal period of instruction. I'm going to do this covering the GOLMEST, the Gain Attention, Overview, Learning Objectives, Method and Media, Evaluation, Safety and Thieves Training, and Transitions. That is how the Marine Corps, what the Marine Corps uses to initially start any class. Now let me cover the Gain Attention. Everyone here should already know what the Gain Attention is because they got that actually in this class. Well, the Marine Corps uses the same as like Gain Attention. The only difference is we insert a WIFM into it. For example, if I were to give a class on, about to give a class on the fundamentals of survival strokes, right? And I decide to use a skit of somebody drowning in the water. At the very end of that skit, I would say, I'm confident that knowledge and skills I will teach you in this class that you'll be able to swim in the water, unlike the individual you just seen in the beginning of my class. There you go. I just incorporated the Gain Attention to the class I'm about to give. And we call that a WIFM, W-I-I-F-M, meaning what is in it for me. Now that I covered the Gain Attention, let me go into the overview. The Marine Corps' overview consists of your name, the title of the class or the class you're giving, topics covered, and the purpose. For example, my name is Staff Sergeant Lima Youth. My class is on the fundamentals of survival strokes. Topics covered will be the body position, arm action, leg action, breathing, coordination, and smoothness and relaxation. And the purpose of this class is to teach you on proper fundamentals of survival strokes when you go out into the fleet and you actually conduct swim qualifications for your Marines. That was my example. Now that I've covered the O in GOLMEST, now I'm going to go into the learning objectives. Make sure to state all the learning objectives or have the students read out loud those TLOs or ELOs, meaning those terminal learning objectives or enabling learning objectives. Those are in every single outline, every single student outline that the Marine Corps has to offer. Right? They will not be located in lesson purpose classes. Those are hard classes to keep students awake because there's no TLOs or ELO. Meaning it's lesson purpose. They will not be tested or evaluated on the class being given. Those are the hardest to give because students tend to fall asleep. That's why you have to insert some type of humor or additional maybe props or something to assist you with the class. Alright, now you've heard learning objectives. Let me go into the M of the GOLMEST, method and media. Make sure to inform the students on how they will be given the class, whether it being informal, formal, or informal, or I get the guided discussion. An informal period of instruction is when students are allowed to ask questions at any time. A formal is when the students are only authorized to ask questions during the transitions or at the end of the class. It uses more structure. You also want to cover the media. Alright, the media. The media explains to the students what type of media you'll be using. Maybe I'll be using the clicker, maybe you'll be using the PowerPoint, maybe I'll be using the chalkboard, the assistance of other instructors. You'll be letting the students know that. Now that I covered the method of media, let me go into the evaluation. Students must know how they'll be evaluated. So basically you'll cover the methods of evaluation, either being a written evaluation, performance evaluation, and if you know the test date, make sure they know the test date too. Always keep your Marines informed, or keep your students informed. The sixth step after the evaluation is safety and thieves training. During any class, the safety and thieves training should and must be stated. Safety is always the Marine Corps' #1 priority. For example, if I was giving an underwater class, I would state, when doing any underwater swimming, you must have 1-to-1 ratio, one student to one instructor ratio. Or maybe I'm doing the underwater takedown classes. All right, I'm going to say, hey, make sure you're tapping yourself if you were to panic. All right, and do not tap yourself because it happens a lot. The last one of the GOLMEST is the transition. The transition is used to intertwine that GOLMEST with the class that's just about to be taught. For example, it'll sound something like this. Now I taught you, now I have covered what you'll be taught, how you'll be taught, and when you'll be evaluated. Are there any questions before I start my class? Since there are no questions, let me start my class. Bam, done. That's how the military period instruction would sound, utilizing the GOLMEST. Now I just taught you how the Marine Corps starts off giving a military period instruction. Utilizing that GOLMEST, I'm confident that you'll be able to leave here today and go out there and try to utilize this military format that I've taught you to go out there and teach your students how to give a proper period of instruction. With that, that concludes my class. Thank you so much.